The beautiful Torah Hashem gave us. Baruch Hashem. Welcome to our Gemara shiur. I know that what you can see on the screen now is a Mishnah Berurah. Please open the Mishnah Berurah because we still have, unfinished business from yesterday's year. We're learning a little bit of the halachas of renting a house for Pesach. The house, who's supposed to clean the house for Pesach? The maskir or the soicher? We've seen the Gemara. Now we're going to see like a brief, scan of the Shulchan Aruch with some interesting points. What happens if the house was supposed to be clean but ended up not being clean? Yeah, can you cancel the deal or what? So let's look at Shulchan Aruch Taf Lamed Zayin, review Aleph, and then go into Beis with more explanations. Aleph, I read this shiur before we continue. Le'ilui nishmas my father Menachem ben Akiva, le'ilui nishmas Tzvi Hirsch ben Shalom, le'ilui la'atzlochas v'atzolas, all the hostages. Hashem yishmor. Amaske b'as l'chaveru. A person rents out his house to his friend for the 14th and onwards, meaning he knows that the renter, will be there from the 14th. If he acquired the land in any of the three ways a karka is supposed to be acquired with, kesef, shtar, chazoko, there was proper kinyan schirus. You're not considered a renter until you either gave money, some of the money, not the whole thing, some of the sum, or you chazoko, you did something physical in the land, or there's a shtar, a contract, which is more accepted today. So if that was done, plus if before he gave him the key, giving the key is a crucial point. If the key was given to the maskir, to the soicher, too late, what's too late? In other words, Yudalid came before giving the key. So at the moment of the chiyuv, it was the key. What does the key represent? The ability to go in, the ability to actually go in and check. So if the key was still in the hands of the landowner, then the maskir has to check, because at the moment of chiyuv, 14th by night, at the beginning, boom, that moment the key was by the maskir, he's got to check it. If the key was given after the beginning of the 14th by night, after Zman B'dikas Chometz, I'm sorry. If the key was given, Mosal HaMafteach, and then came Yudalid, so the key was in the hands of the Soicher by the time of the 14th, the Soicher has to check. That we dealt with before. Now Beis. The Beis is the next sugya. I rented a house from a friend. Friend doesn't mean my close friend, from any fellow Jew. Some people are more frum than others. As the Gemara says, there was always a story. And I don't know if he checked the house last night as he was supposed to. So usually we say there's a chazaka, but the chazaka doesn't always help. If the balabais is in town, call him, run after him, check and find out if he checked it. We don't rely on chazakas. The Mishnah Berurah explains why. You know why? Because there was an anti-chazaka, there's a contra chazaka before that. I'm adding something from the Mishnah Berurah without looking in the Mishnah Berurah. You can look it up yourselves. That every house has the chazaka to be checked by the 14th, but every house has a chazaka to have chametz in it. Unless the people are very, very, very seriously on Atkins diet, the whole family, including all their guests and their grandchildren, most people have some chametz in the house throughout the year, right? And therefore, as much as we rely on the chazaka, right, we can't rely on it 100%, and we better find out to confirm the chazaka, because that chazaka comes to outsmart a previous chazaka, right? So better ask him. And if you ask his wife, what did we say? Also good. Yeah, and even a child above chinuch age, or an eved, it's also good. He's not in town, and I don't know, he's not in town, his wife's not in town. We highly assume that the house is checked. Oh, this is something very, very important. That mevatla beliboy is an addition which we didn't go into so much in the sugya. Why is mevatla beliboy? In other words, although you assume the house is checked, right? You don't know 100%, but you highly assume. Why do you have to do bitul? Because, if you check, there's no chametz. And the chametz was never mine. Why should it be mevatel? So two things. The main thing is what? Because we're still not 100% sure, right, that the house is checked. To check the house and start crawling on all four and doing blikas chametz for 2 hours and go crazy, Even Rashi hinted to that. If you remember Rashi in the Sugya, we didn't see it inside. La truche, we're not matriachim. But Mevatel is very easy. Mevatel, Lemaise, he bequeathed you the chametz. He left his chametz to you. Now the house is yours, and the chametz, he doesn't want to take the chametz with him to his vacation in Acapulco. He's living with the chametz with you, if there is any chametz. Maybe there's a crumb here, crumb there. We assume the house is checked. But if there are crumb here, crumb there, he's out of the story. So in case he didn't check, to play it safe, you, Mr. Renter, should be mevatel and say, Kol chamir v'chamidi kabir shusi, because now it's your reshus, right? And because it's not difficult, we say, yalla, don't be such a, stickler to, and be mevatel the chometz. Yeah, to play it safe, be mevatel. V'dayo. Beliboy, by the way, there's a question, whether bitul has to be b'peh, or maybe it's enough belev. Either Shulchan Aruch paskins, beliboy. Yeah, even if you just think the chametz afa ve'ara, I don't want it, I have nothing to do with it, it's garnished mit nicht, sounds like it's okay. Okay. Oh, Gimel is a hot stuff. Gimel is a very interesting case. Yeah, that's the very big polemic kind of case. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shekol yigdor. Amaskir ba'as lechaver b'cheskas boduk. Somebody was maskir house to his friend. Becheskas boduk. Go down to the Mishnah Berurah. Becheskas boduk. Here the Mishnah Berurah is giving it to us. Hainu beyudaled shemistom becheskas bduka v'kanal. Either it's just he rented it on the 14th, and as we said, we assume most houses are boduk. Vehu adin she'omar lamaskir beferush bduka. Opa, yeah. Says, you remember Machlokes Rishonim. Mishnah Berurah says not only if you assumed it's boduk, even if you're told, yes, my house is checked. What was the advertisement online? Clean for Pesach rental unit. Yeah? And let's go back to the Mechaber. V'nimtza she'enu boduk. The house is not checked. I'm sorry. He goes to a place and he sees there's a crumb over here and a cookie over there and a shenet shiur somewhere. Al soicher livdoik. The soicher must check it, right? When does the soicher have to check it? Look at Yud Beis. So, yeah. I mean, we saw Yud Beis already, yeah? Basically, what he says in Yud Beis is that after bevade biyom yudar dechiv the maskir livdok. Maskir is not a nice guy. He should have been boidik, and he shouldn't have lied. Mikomokim ilesa. Come on. Oh, did you hear what he said? If the maskir, he's away in Acapulco, mutal ala soicher livdok. True. The maskir should, if he's in town, the maskir should go back and be true to his word. What kind of liar you are? Come and check. But if the maskir went away, the soicher has to check. The soicher may claim it's a mekach tos. It's not a deal. It never started. Had I known it wasn't checked, I would have canceled the whole deal. It's like you're selling me, as we say in Hebrew, a cat in the bag. I want shoes and you're selling me a cat. Yeah, what is this? Here, we're not siding with the soicher. That bad, yeah, to say that it's mekach tos, that's where we don't go. Das Chol b'cheskas boduk. Maybe you say it's mekach tos because you assumed it's boduk. No. Very good. Yeah. In other words, we do know that b'di'evid, once the maskir didn't do the bdika and the maskir is on an airplane to Mexico, so in such a situation we apply the halacha, the another chazaka, one chazaka against the other, that a yid wants to do mitzvah with his body or even with his money. Does he have to get back the money? Which means, remember we said yesterday, if the person, the soicher, he has no koch to do it himself, he has to hire a boydek. Apparently that was done in the times of the Gemara, it sounds like. You hire the boydek. Will I be embarrassed by the maskir, the liar? We're going to see it's a machloikis. I'm skipping back on purpose to the Shulchan Aruch. Yeah. Then a mekachtos. Back to Shulchan Aruch Gimel. Yeah. Then a mekachtos. Even if it means financial loss and he has to pay checkers. Shar mitzvah oise. Because he does a mitzvah, it's not enough. The fact he was lied is true. But on the other hand, he's doing a mitzvah. So all in all, yeah, you keep the schirus and you can't say there was a mekachtos, the whole, fake thing to begin with. The yesh oimrim, as we saw in the Rishonim, that tzarich nachzer lo schar abdika, or vitna behedesher boduk. Oh, says the Ramo, siding with those Rishonim like who? The Ritva. and also the Rav Magid, yeah, and we saw the Ritva yesterday, remember? That although I'm happy to spend money, I'm happy to fork out the money temporarily and pay the boydek, I don't know, 500 shekels for the bdika. But yeah, because it was a tnai, I'm not willing to mamish lose money. Now, okay, now there's a very interesting look at the biur locha. Biur locha v'yesh omen mitzorich la'achzir. Yeah, have it? Yeah, very good. Ein pri chodesh kosav. I think some people here will be happy to hear that. Da mechaber וגם agor, both mechaber and Ramo, lo marikim bestome. Remember what we said up until now? What do you mean muchzak boduk? What does muchzak mean? Either it's highly assumed, or we went even further. Look at the biur locha bestome. Oishoma maskil shu boduk vasocha shosak. Yeah, the maskil said, it's a checked house. Yeah, there was a maidah online, maidah, an advertisement, a house for rent, clean for Pesach. Then we say that the soicher cannot say it's mekach tos. It was assumed to be clean, but we also assume you're a good yid and you don't mind doing a mitzvah. Aval, here comes the pre-chodesh with the chiddush. In hitana soicher ima behedya, even though it was a clear condition that the soicher mouthed, the soicher wasn't passively saying, it's clean for Pesach. Okay. Is it next to the park? No. The soicher clearly said, what's behedya? Clearly, black and white. Al menashir boduk. He says, I am only renting this house on condition it will be checked. Yeah. Avi bitul mekach lekula alma. Wow. Yeah. That's bitul mekach lekula alma. We're not going through the entire thing. The biur halacha at the end of the biur halacha, let's keep to shuv matzasi b'mekorchaim shekotze b'pshitus deikar l'dinik v'chodosh d'imhitan l'tay gomer v'bitul mekach l'ken tzorch iyun l'dina. In other words, the biur halacha brings down Rishonim that we saw, some we didn't see. It's not so simple. You could still say that even though it's a condition, it's still not enough to make mekach, right? To mekach is a very severe thing to cancel a deal. So yeah, in other words, it's true you wanted it and you're upset, and maybe you deserve the money back. Yeah, some of the money of the bdika. But lemaisa, to say that it's a mekach, even when we made a clear condition, he says tzorchiyun ledina. It's tzorchiyun. Another thing, for the benefit of the maskir, actually, the Mishnah Berurah says, what are we going to do when we have mechalokes mechaber and the Ramo? Don't tell the Ashkenazim Sephardim. No, in this case it doesn't work. The mechaber says that the soicher who spent money, with gritted teeth, he spent money, but really we say that he wanted to spend the money with the Eved to get the boydek. Says the Shulchan Aruch, you're not going to say that money again. And says the Rama, yes, you will. You lend the money, yeah. You provide the money, you fork out the money, you'll get it back from the maskil. What's halacha l'maaseh? Says the Mishnah Berurah, amoitze mechaber lo varaya. In other words, if I am the frustrated soichel, I want to claim back the money. Where was the maskil? In a cruise liner, no klita. You won't be back. What did I have to do? I'm not going to do it myself, old man with a white beard. What do? I rent, I hire. I paid him 500 shekels. Will I be reimbursed with the 500 shekels? Yes or no? Machlokes mechaber and Rama. Machlokes ritvo and ran we saw yesterday. So what do? Unfortunately, or yes, fortunate, I shouldn't say unfortunately. Unfortunately for the soicher, yeah, when we're not sure if Reuben owes Shimon money, Reuben will hold the money until Shimon will prove him otherwise. That's okay. That's halacha. So it's always better to be clear. It's always better to be clear, right? I'm saying if you get. Even if you're clear, it's not so clear. better. I'm saying if I was a dayan, I'm not that I'm a dayan, but if a person at least made a condition of nasru baduk, it helps more towards him being right and getting the money back or being able to cancel the deal. Even though it's also tzorchiyun, true, but at least it's leaning more towards the stoicher side. Zog the heilige mechaber, the last one dalid, taflam and zayin dalid. Oh, this is the other case we had. It's a house which we know was not checked by the Baal Habayis, by the owner of the maskil, by the landlord. A woman or a slave or a cotton, a little kid we'll see what a little kid, we checked it. Why are they believed? because even if in other areas an Eved is not believed and cotton is definitely not believed, in this area they're nemonim. Why? Because it's the Rabbanon. The same Rabbanon that said that you have to do bdika, the same Rabbanon said, here you trust the Ishon Eved. V'shia cotton shesh bodas livdoik. What's cotton shesh bodas? I mean, it's not a question of IQ, it's a question of age, which is obviously connected to intelligence. What's the age? Chinuch. Yeah, you can see if you want to yourself. The Mishnah Berurah says, what's your test? Hainu shigel chinuch.
Five.
5, 6 is chinuch. Between 5 and 7 depends how the kid how mentally developed he is. Yeah, it's true. Let's say there. Now I think we had a nice fuel here to the. Oh, okay, now we're going to the next sugya. So we're going to skip it. We're going to skip again. I hope people are not upset with skipping, but I'm only doing this for everyone's good because there's a limited time between now and Pesach, and what we want to visit are the sugyas that have to do with Pesach, and not everything in the Psachim is to do with Pesach. So now we are going to skip, and we have the chart. Soon we're going to see Bezos Hashem. We are going to skip to Hey Omud Beis in the 2 dots. Yeah, people online, people here in Amlo Ezra Mat B'Shemesh. Everybody all over the world, you didn't learn Torah. Unbelievable. Tono Bonon. Hey Omud Beis in the 2 dots. This is the 5th line from the top of the page. Count 5 lines from the top of the page. You have it. Hey Omud Beis. Tono Bonon. Tono Bonon. Yeah? 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 Weiter. So before we continue, I recommend you look at the pages at the Pesukim. Yeah. It says in the Torah, as we all know, everybody knows how to recite this as like a mantra, like an automatic kind of thing. You say, what's the issur of keeping chametz in your house? Bali roy, bali motze, right? That's what we always say, right? Bali roy, bali motze, right? There are really 2 separate issur mentioned in the Torah. One time the Torah says bal yimotze. Yeah, bali motze. What does bali motze mean? It shall not be found in your property. Yeah, in your house or property. And bal yiroe, it shall not be seen. Shall not be seen with the eyes. Let's read the Pesukim. It's not the entire pasuk. Shmois Yud Beis in Parshas Boy. Shivas Yomim Se'or. That's the first checker in the top. Shivas Yomim Se'or lo yimotze b'basechem. For 7 days, Se'or. Se'or is the agent. Se'or is like really the way they used to do it before they had modern yeast was like rotten piece of yeah, I'm serious, piece of dough, like sour piece of dough, and it causes other things to become chametz, to become leavened. Yeah. Seor shivas yamim seor limotz bebatechem. 7 days a seor should not be found in your houses. And then in Shmois Yud Gimel, the next checker, bal yiroe, you see, v'lo yiroe lecha chometz, v'lo yiroe lecha seor b'chol gvulecha. Yeah, no chometz or seor should be seen to you in any part of your land. B'chol gvulecha. I highlighted, and thank you very much, Jason, for printing it for everybody. Very, very nice of you. Shiva Samim Sel Loi Motze Bebatechem. You see what the pasuk is talking about? The pasuk about the Motze talks about not finding it in the house. Maybe you can find it somewhere else. I'm not joking. Maybe in the factory is okay. Maybe in the car. You know how crazy that is to clean the car for Pesach? It's insane. Yeah, the way my kids keep the car. So Loi Motze Bebatechem. Maybe only in the house. I don't know. Bali Roe. No. Lore Lecho Chometz V'lecho So B'chol Gvulecho. Bali says in any part of your gvul, wherever you own anything, you can own a factory on the other side of the world. People do. Yeah, will do. Chol gvulecho. It's within your property. Yeah, anywhere in the world, you should not have chametz, even if you don't live there. And also another difference is bali roa. It says lo yiro lecho. The chametz should not be seen to you, which indicates your chametz should not be in your house, but maybe somebody else's would be. I'm just preparing you for the sugya, and as the sugyas go, we're going to have a back and forth. Each pasuk has its chumra and kula, and from that we're going to learn why the Torah requires to have both isurim, bali roe and bali motze. Okay, let's start. Tono Rabbanon. I'm going to do this nice and slow. We're not going to finish it today, and it's not the end of the world as long as we get it right. One of the frustrating things about Daf Yomi is that those kind of you have to do the whole daf in an hour, which is the kind of difficult. Okay, I'm online, so I'm using nice lotion. Basically, and then you have all these psukim back and forth, ping pong, and nobody understands anything. Here, I want to do it nice and slow, so people should, Bezos Hashem, understand each word of the pasuk, what is it coming to include, what is it come to exclude, and all will be well, Bezos Hashem, and we'll come ready for Pesach, understanding the real Torah source for why we check for Pesach. We have to understand what we're doing. Tono bonon. Shivas yamim se'or lo imotze bebatechem. Oh, so that is right. The pasuk of lo imotze. Matal mudloimer. Why did the Torah have to write me this pasuk? Velakavanema. It says already lo yirolecha se'or v'lo yirolecha chametz v'chol gvulecha. Basically, why do you need both psukim? Yeah. At the end of the day, superficially speaking, both psukim are telling me that the chametz should not be seen, should not be found in my house. Same thing. Why are the psukim kind of? Why do you need both psukim? Answers the Braisa. Oh, let's go nice and slow. Lafi sheneemar, lo yiro'elcha se'or lecha. Look at pasuk number this, right? Bali ro'lo lecha. In the pasuk of Bali ro'lo lecha. What's lecha? Yeah, what does it mean? So, shelcha iyataroye. You're not allowed to see, yeah, or to have in your house. You're not allowed to have your own chametz belonging to you or to another Jew. Let me just get that clear. Yeah, if you have Chaim Yankel's chametz by you, not supposed to have it. Aval ataroye shel acherim v'shel gavoa, which means you're allowed to see, i.e., see in your house, have in your property, visible, open. You're allowed to have the chametz of, our good friend Tim McKenzie, the one and only imaginary figure to whoever doesn't know. Yeah, so Tim McKenzie or Tom McKinley or Mahmoud. Yeah, if you have their chametz in your house, from this pasuk, it sounds like it's okay. I don't own it, nothing to do with it. He came to the house with the chametz. He is keeping the chametz in my house, and that is okay for me to have. It does say later I should have a mechitza asor tfachim between Tim McKenzie's chametz and my zis Yiddish kinderlach and myself, so we don't come to eat it. But I don't have to do anything. The mere fact that it's in my house, the chametz of the goy, is okay. Why? Because lecha comes to tell me your or a Jewish-owned chametz should not be by you, but a goyish-owned chametz can stay with you. Is allowed to stay with you. V'shal gavoya. What's gavoya? Hekdesh. A person who's makdish a very, very nice pile of wheat. Nice, fresh, good-looking, big sack of wheat for Hekdesh, for Beis HaMikdash, for whichever reason, yeah? So now it belongs to Beis HaMikdash. There, it's allowed to have it in my house. Why? Let's say the wheat is wet. Wheat is sometimes chametz, yeah? The wheat was already chametz-dik. That can happen many times, yeah? Especially today. It was wet, it's chametz-dik. Yeah, or whatever, chametz. Why can I have it in my house? You know why? Because it says lecha, your chametz should not be there, but the chametz belongs to Hashem. Oh, that's all different entity. It's not a human being. It belongs to Kadosh Baruch Hu, to Beis Hamikdash, and you happen to keep it in your house. Let's say you are the makdish, so then you're allowed to keep that, and you know what? You don't even have to put a mechitza. Wow. Why? At least from what I've seen so far in the sugya, because gava, everyone is very, very scared of touching. Tim McKenzie, the guy, but not you should, but people may not be careful. Unfortunately, we don't have Beis Hamikdash. But people in times of Beis Hamikdash, if they had Hekdesh item in the house, they would be like automatically hands off. There's like a radar around it, don't touch. But in any event, if you have a chametz of a goy, a chametz of lahavdil, Kadosh Baruch Hu, that's okay to keep in your house, and that is what we learn from the word in which pasuk. Lecha. You see what I did here? The next checker here, permitting a goy's chametz. Let me just tell. Okay, yeah, good. So goy's chametz is okay in my house. The Gemara, the Brisa continues. Yochol yatmin v'kabel pikdoinos min hanochri, which means if you just have the pasuk bali roy, what does it say? It should not be seen. The chametz should not be seen. Let's read the pasuk as if we were never from before in our lives, like we're reading it carte blanche. It means the chametz should not be seen. We had a secular neighbor in Tel Aviv she was, I'm saying this story on purpose. She was not, whatever, was Holocaust survivor, whole story. She would clean the house for Pesach, and she held it, she's okay, and she would keep the bread in the freezer. Why? Because you don't see it. So it's okay. The shitasa. So, Miskena, she was a very miskin person. So, Lilu Nishmosa, I'm saying, that's the half of the Gemara. Lo yiroy. Should not be seen. What you don't see doesn't hurt you. So, maybe I'm allowed to be matmin. Yeah, yatmin. Maybe I'm allowed to hide it in the freezer and put a tape. Maybe I'm allowed to matmin it in the cupboard and lock. Nobody will see. Maybe that's allowed because it's a guy. It doesn't say it shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be seen there. Question number two. The kabel pikdonis min anochri. Question number two. From the same pasuk of Eloi Roe, the second one, the Bali Roe, it's indicated that you should not do what? Have your own chametz. If the chametz belongs to Mr. Nochri, I'm allowed to have it. What about if the Nochri came to my house and said, "Hey, yo, I'd like to keep my chametz in your house. Chametz. I'd like to keep my good whiskey in your house and some nice pieces of cake." Yeah, and he's going on a holiday for a month of wearing space. I don't know, April, yeah, whatever. Now, and he says, if anything happens, and he's paying me, I'm Shomer Sochar, and I committed that if anything happens to his whiskey or his nice cookies, yeah, then what? Then I'll pay. I'm nifkad, and I have financial connection to that. Now, this chometz is not nothing to do with me. It's to do with me. I'm a chroy on the chometz. Yeah, I'm a nifkad. I'm a shomer. Right? Is that also allowed? If you say lecho, yeah, it's not my chometz. Is that also allowed to keep in my house? Talmud loymar da da da. Welcome to the other pasuk. Because of these two questions, we need loy motze. Aha. Talmud loymar loy motze. What does it mean loy motze? Loy motze is telling us two things. First of all, you saw the word lecha. I did with an I put a strike through. It doesn't say lechoi bali motze, meaning silence speaks louder than words. The fact that the Torah did not say lecho comes to tell me that even if the chametz belongs to the goy, I'm not allowed to have it. Is there a contradiction between the psukim? No. In the first pasuk, where I'm allowed to have the chametz of the goy, it has nothing to do with me. Think Chas v'shalom, something went wrong in the middle of Cholamoid, something really, really urgent, and you had to call a plumber, and no Jewish plumber wants to work. So you called Mahmoud Khalil Ibn Safta, whatever. An Arab came to your house on Pesach, and he is munching his pita. He's careful maybe not to. Yeah. So what do? First of all, you have to call it solo, because your wife already fainted and got a heart attack from seeing chometz in a house on Pesach. Halachically, it's allowed. Why? As long as it doesn't dirt. Why? It is chametz. Nothing to do with me. Nothing to do at all. Mashe'enken the posuk bali motze that does not that omits the word lecha prohibiting. You see, prohibiting a goy chametz because he deposited it by me. Yeah. If Mahmoud said, "Yeah, you keep my chametz for me, and I'm keeping it for him, and I'm a choroi," I'm in charge. Oh, that's a different story. That's when the pasuk loy motze without lecha. 1 second, without lecha to tell me that in such a case the chametz dike go in my house is osir. Now I'll be with you. I promise I'll hear you soon. Now, what about hidden chametz? What about my neighbor from Tel Aviv who would keep her bread, inside the freezer under lock and key? Sadly for her, it's a problem because lo yimotze means what? Should not be found, should not exist at all, right? Nothing to do seeing it. Therefore, I need a pasuk bali motze. That's the crux of the brisa. There's much more, but we got the picture of the brisa now. Yes.
This would seem to make it a problem. For example, when I go to sell my chametz, I'm selling whatever chametz I have to the goy. Most people get rid of all their chametz before, but in the United States, it's very common that they sell their chametz.
Thank you. That was a good question, Jason. Now let's continue. Oh, Yochol. Now we're going to see in the brisa another detail regarding what? Regarding the chametz of the goy in my house. I will repeat, and it's compliment for you. I'll repeat your question. Jason is asking, why is it that we can have a goy's chametz in our house on Pesach? We all do, right? Most of us, I don't know, maybe people big tzaddikim. Everybody has mocher lagoy, mocher lagoy. What do you mean mocher lagoy? It's in my house, right? It's not as some fly-by-night plumber who came and left. It's by me all the time, and it's a contract. My answer is, we'll see later, that the pikodon of a goy by me that's usher is only if I am achroy, if I'm responsible and I am the one I'm the go-to address if anything happens. Then it's usher because then I'm financially connected to it. As Igmar will explain later, moment must be that in the star mechira that I sell mechometz to goy, I'm not in charge, I'm not responsible, I'm not reliable in that. Yeah, I'm not accountable. If anything happens, the chometz burned, stolen, I don't know, molested, something, the chometz, anything happens to chometz, nothing to do with me. and therefore it's completely the guy's, nothing to do with me anymore, and I can keep it in my house. I think though that some people say you sell the area to the guy also, the actual cupboard or the actual room, and that also gets rid of the problem. No, I think there's such a. I've heard people saying that. Excuse my maratzis, but that could also be a solution. So then the place is not mine. Okay, thank you for the aura. Continues the brisa. Now there are two types of right. Yochel yatmin. Let's just repeat. Yochel yatmin v'kabel kedos min anochi. Telmadam lo imotze. What's lo imotze? The pasuk lo imotze is more inclusive. You should not have any chametz in your house. What does it mean not have? Listen to my words. Not have any chametz. Lo imotze. Whether you can see it or can't see it, you hid it in one cupboard inside the other, inside the other. Look, the Russian babushka, lo imotze. Even if it's hidden in five cupboards, one inside the other, lo imotze. Secondly, doesn't say lecho or lo. Even a goy's chametz, if it's as a pikod deposited by me, it's usher to have on Pesach. Continues the brisa. Now there are two types of relationship you can have with a goy, even within the pikodon. Which means, when does the Torah seemingly, yeah, when does the Torah forbid this Ainli Ella logically doesn't make sense. We're already telling you now. The Gemara will deal with it later. So just hear the words, and I'm sure you're going to have a question. The Gemara will ask you a question. Ainli Ella benochri shelo kibashtoi then show imcha bechotzer, which means maybe the chametz that I'm not allowed to have is only a chametz of a nochri that's like kibashtoi, that I did not conquer, that he's not under my control, and he's not living with me in the house. Maybe that is osur. Aval nochi shekibashtoi v'shor imcha bechotzer. Kibashtoi means he's under my control. He's my slave. He's my somebody that I have control of. I can tell him what to do. He's ger toishov, that whatever, somebody like that, and he lives with me in the chotzer. Minayin. How do you know that his chometz is osur? Talmud loymar leimotze bebatechem. Now, of course, this is difficult because it does make sense. It should be the other way around, right? The Gemara says, even the one that's under me, even his osir. What do you mean even? The other way around. The kol sheken, very good. Oh, my neighbor is a quick guy, yeah? If it's my maid that I can control her and she's living, like people live in. You have a live-in maid, like a lot of people in England have them, yeah? They leave the house, in America also. Sometimes, yeah, but they're very rich people. Yeah, and she lives there, and I can tell her what to do up to a point, yeah? I'm an employer. Even her chametz can't be in the house. What do you mean? Of course. The Gemara will deal with the question later. I promise that will be the next sugya. But for now, we're continuing the brisa. Enli ela shebebatechem. As much as the pasuk batechem is inclusive, the pasuk bebatechem, it also sounds exclusive. Don't have chametz in your house. Okay. My father had a factory when I was a child. He didn't live in the factory, but he had to do because chametz in the factory. It was a big factory, So now, let's say a person owns out in the field in the boondocks. He owns some pits, shichin me'oros, some underground tunnels, underground areas, and the guy owns it. How do you know you shouldn't have chametz? It says batechem. Maybe in my vicinity where I live with my wife in Kinderlach, I can't have chametz. But maybe in the factory, yes. Maybe in some funny pit at the end of the farm, I can have chametz there. Yeah, that's indicated from batechem. The Torah says no. Here, the other pasuk is surprisingly becoming more inclusive. What did I write at the end? B'chol gvulecha, prohibiting outdoor areas such as pits, right? In other words, the pasuk balirah is not being constricted to bayit, kol gvulecha, all your property. Yeah, some people have a lot of property all over the world, ranches and hotels and gas stations from people. They have to make sure there's dikas chametz in all these places. They can send a shliach. Yes, they do. Yeah, some achves, a millionaire from, I don't know, New York, London. Yeah, they have properties all over the world. They have to make sure because chametz all over for sure. Unless they write it out to the guy, I don't know. I'm saying, let's say it's not.
If it's your company that owns it, usually they have like a.
I'm saying if he owns it, I'm not a bicycle about company. Let's say the company's owned mainly for me. I don't know. I mean, a shoot for the guy. It's a good question, but make or yes. You have a factory, you have to check it. You have a car, you have to check. You have whatever you have. Yeah. Okay, we've done the crux of the brisa, the skeleton of the brisa. We will continue tomorrow, and actually, it's a very good place to stop. You can review this now as much as you want because there's no shiur tomorrow night. Chalakev, my grandson in Meron, can't miss it. Baruch Hashem, Allah love nachas. Yeah, Baruch Hashem. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm good for Motzei Shabbos. Any chances? Neighbor, show me some neighborly love. No, you out. Yeah, Motzei Shabbos. Oh, Motzei Shabbos is late. Also, it's summer clock in Israel now. Summertime. We'll see what happens. We'll be in touch about Motzei Shabbos, but for sure on Sunday. Okay, Mitzvah Hashem. So we'll continue to on Sunday, I guess. Okay. Atzlacha uvracha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to everybody who listens, and we're all growing together in Torah.